some of these issues of impunity that we see here and there, where you see even a CS goes to the TV and he says he doesn't know the people who are shooting. That means that person in a country that works, that person will not be there as the CS the next day. But in our country, impunity is the normal thing. Then the third one, on the issues of police brutality, I was thinking, maybe we are trying to solve the symptoms, but then we are not really trying to solve the real issues. What if we also have a formal way where we petition? I don't know if petition is the right word, where we look at police right from the recruitment, that instead of looking at instead of the requirements being a police officer should have a D plus or something, we also look at the emotional intelligence of a police officer. That, some of these things, it's a police officer who didn't have the emotional intelligence of dealing with a particular issue. And because of a number of things, and this also leads to their training. Why can't we also look at their curricula? Because I don't think even the police college has an aspect of emotional intelligence. The other day, the Charles Owino was speaking in the media, and then what he said was that when a police officer is in a particular situation, and the situation that he was describing isn't a situation that demands that a police officer should use live bullets or something. So I was wondering, that shows you that right from their training, these people are not trained on how to really handle these people, really handle citizens, because they are still using the colonial script of handling issues. And I think that if we can have also some effort directed towards overhauling that aspect of the police, it can also be good. That, and also the issues on corruption, I think those are the issues that I had. Thank you.
Thank you. If we can allow Abner to respond to some of those questions. Abner, do you have the microphone?
Yes. Thank you, Manwa. I think I'll just pick the last one in terms of the police and how they've been handling the demonstrators, or those who are picketing. I choose to call them that. I think we've experienced a lot of police brutality, and for me, it goes more towards in terms of leadership, in terms of how they are led and the kind of instructions they're given. Remember, the Law Society has gone to the extent of petitioning the High Court in terms of buying the police from using excessive force and equipment such as the water cannon and the tear gases to tarnish and break away peaceful demonstrators. And we have gotten orders to such extent. But unfortunately, the police have continued to orchestrate a lot of brutality and force against peaceful citizens who are advocating for their rights. So, first of all, it is a matter of leadership. We expected that at the point of which the former Inspector General resigned, we had hoped that we would see a difference in terms of how the police are conducting themselves. But unfortunately, we witnessed a lot of police brutality. This week on Wednesday, we were in court where we represented 109 peaceful Kenyans who were demonstrating. And unfortunately, we witnessed so many of them who were injured, who could not even walk. They had bruises. And these are some of the actions that we will be calling upon the Inspector General and the police service to take responsibility in terms of how they have handled the Kenyans. But I agree with you, but perhaps it goes down to things like training. I mean, emotional intelligence is something that perhaps goes to how somebody has been trained. So perhaps as a nation, this is a conversation we should have in terms of what kind of training are our officers given, and perhaps what kind of people do we want to have in the service serving Kenyans as police officers. I'll pick another question on. I think one of us asked if we can have a directive where if somebody does not chooses to go to work and does not demonstrate, perhaps if we could have them reprimanded or punished and so forth. I think the Constitution of Kenya makes Kenya a democratic country, and you will agree with me, not every single Kenyan is for this type of protest. There are those Kenyans who are opposed to these recent demonstrations. We recently saw a research by TIFA that was commissioned by TIFA that showed the kind of responses that Kenya have towards the recent demonstrations that we've had. So we would agree. You will agree with me that not every Kenyan is in support of this demonstration. So Kenya as a democracy, you cannot force each and every one of us to be part of this demonstrator. So I would agree with one of the speakers who said that perhaps if we could have a unity of thought, perhaps if we could not have so many perhaps platforms where we are communicating the same thing, so that it makes it easier for those who are in support of these demonstrations to have maybe one agenda, move in one direction, rather than having splinter groups. But we, as a democracy, cannot force each and every single Kenyan to be part of perhaps something that, in their own right, they do not subscribe to. I'll pick those two questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Lord Masaba, your question, kindly, if you can shoot. Richard? Mwageka. Rian? Ryan, whichever. Rian, can someone hear me?
We can hear you.
Robert, kindly, if you've requested the microphone, kindly, and you can't speak, drop it so that we can add more speakers to the speaker box. Robert? Robert, can you hear me?